Okay, so we covered some different techniques of how to replace constant force balances in vinyl windows. We very briefly covered how to replace balances in a window that already had a factory notch taken out. We talked about how to use jam spreaders and the heat gun. And now we're going to talk about how do you do it if you have none of those things. So earlier I told you I have this little tool. It's called a balance cutout tool, and what it does and what makes it so special is that it creates a very clean cut. The funny thing about the balance cutout tool is when I actually need it, or when I'm using it to do the top sash of a double hung window, I still have to start it with a utility knife. It's just too wide still. So I'll go out and I'll tell you how to use that, and you'll see me do that in a couple seconds. But what are some of the things that we want to talk about when we're actually replacing balances for a homeowner, and we have to use actually have to cut them out? Well, so the number one priority is that we want to make it as least noticeable as possible. You know, we really care about the aesthetics of the window, you know, so we want to basically look as though we haven't been there. So how do we do that? Well, so what we're going to do is we're going to mark the travel of the window, and we're going to see where the blind spot is, kind of, where you just don't notice where the balance is located. So I like to use an etching tool. It's like a pencil with no lead. I mean, it's just an etching tool. It leaves no marking, but it will actually leave a groove. It's a hardened steel. It's got a hardened steel point. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I mean, I'm going to be able to illustrate it much better by leaving an actual mark. So some of the concerns when you're actually going to make your own notch in someone's window, or if it's your house, and again, if you're like a super do-it-yourselfer, what you're going to want to consider is, you know, am I really messing with the performance of the window, most notably the air infiltration rate? And the answer is, are you? Maybe, but it's not going to be in a noticeable way. It's going to be extremely minimal. And here's how I'll explain that. So high quality vinyl windows are, you know, they should have lots of weather stripping on them. In this window in particular, it's got weather stripping on the sides of the sash, and also on the exterior portion of the sash. So this weather stripping on the exterior portion, that's going to be doing the heavy lifting in terms of the air infiltration rate. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to cut out any of this vinyl here. We're not going to touch it, and it's going to be completely unaffected by the repair that we make. Now, then you've got the weather stripping on the side. Well, the weather stripping on the sides, we're going to remove maybe, you know, 5% of the weather stripping on the sides. So the vinyl on the sides that will be affected by the weather stripping on the side of the sash. So it really is very minimal. So but here's what we're going to do to start. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mark the area in which we can actually replace the balance. So I'm going to mark this sash, the jamb right here at the top of the sash. And I'm going to raise the window to its fullest point, about right there. And I'm going to mark it on the bottom as well. Going to tilt the window in, remove the sash. So right now, as you can see, I've got about, what is it, about 4 inches maybe of space that I can use. And what I want to do is I want to remove just enough of the material to remove the balance. So, I mean, the balance itself in the balance shoe, well, let's see exactly how much space it is. It's in the neighborhood, I would say, of about maybe 3 inches. I'm going to release the tension of the sash. It's about 3 inches. So I'm going to start about, let's say, a ½ inch down and a ½ inch up from the bottom line, and we'll go from there. Let me take this balance out. So the first thing I do is, of course, I release the tension of the balance. Then I'm going to remove the screw. Let me do that so you can actually see what I'm doing. And from this, you can see the lines a lot better. I'm going to remove this bad boy. Knock it down. And actually center it just a little bit more so I can see. I want to see the exact amount that I want to remove. Okay, so again, I have a balance cutout tool, and like I was saying earlier, it leaves a very clean cut, but I still have to start it with the utility knife. Now, I can use a little flimsy and sharp utility knife, but this vinyl is kind of tricky. You're going to get into it, and it's going to be very, very hard to cut, and then for some reason, it's just going to give away, and you're going to really start slicing through at a much greater rate than you ever wanted to. So when you do it freehand, you've got to add a downward pressure, but you can't let it get away with you. You've got to always maintain control, because believe me, you could cut more than you want to. So I'm going to make a horizontal cut first. And you're going to find that, if you've got a builder grade window, the thickness of the extrusions, they're quite thin. What I'm using right now is I'm working on doing this demonstration on is a very high quality vinyl window. The extrusions are actually in the neighborhood of 70 mil to 80 mil, so it's pretty thick. I'm just going to try to just get all the way over, because what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to start when I do my vertical cut. I don't want it to run all the way down. I mean, I got to be very careful with that. And I'll show you what I mean in a second here. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So what I've done is I'm creating a horizontal cut and another horizontal cut, and then I'm going to work the vertical. So what I want to create a stopping point, essentially. So when I start cutting down vertically, it won't. I won't go past that point, because what I don't want to do is go past the lower pencil marks. Okay. Now again, I just got to get in here just enough force, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just insert my balance cutout tool. Then I'll show you how that works. Okay, now there you go. Also, it's crazy, but the middle of your utility knife seems to be much sharper than the edge. So I'm going to just kind of chip away at this just a little bit, kind of like you would when you're chopping down a tree. I'm going to hit it from both the bottom and the top. Okay, so right now I'm slicing through it pretty fast. And I just got a text. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to see if my balance cutout tool is going to fit. And the way it works is that there's a very sharp edge here on this side, and it's going to clamp down, and it's just going to pinch the vinyl and shear it off. So I'm going to open it wide enough that I could slip this on. Make sure it's snug against the side. And then what I actually have is I actually have a nut driver that's the same size as my. Put the torque on my screwdriver or on my drill. Hold it in place. Now I'm just going to drill it. Boom. That's nice. I'm right there, pretty close to the edge. I have to unlock this. Open it back up. I'm going to do it again. I'll do it on the other side. Gonna see where I was right here. That's perfect. Trying to do this and not obscure your view. Okay, well, that didn't work. I ran out, so I got my trusty multiple point. And if you're wondering why I'm not using a proper ratchet, it's because I left my toolbox in my car and my wife just took the car. So I'm kind of lost, but everyone's out of the house, so I can actually make this video now. There you go. Get this bad boy out. See, right now I've got it almost. I gotta move it up. I gotta do the top, and then I gotta move the bottom. I'm new to this, so I'm trying to just do it in one take. And if I get better at this, I'll actually edit the video properly. So that was much quicker. Do this top, and hopefully we'll be done. Okay, let's see. Done. Okay, grab this thing up, move it out. Now we just have to put the new one in, reinstall it, and then we're done. So So there you go. I mean, we did it with a factory notched window. We did it with a jam spreader. We did it with a heat gun. You could use one of these balance cutout tools that I have here. Or, you know what? You could freehand it. But at least now you know how to do it. I'm going to put the sash back in. Reinstall it. And I'm going to let you see what it actually looks like after the fact. So you can see that you really can't tell. Put this back in here. Over to this side. Get my sash, reinstall it. Close it. So there. So now, from the front, you can't tell that I've made a repair. Even from the side, you can't tell. You can't tell from the top. And when I raise it, you can't tell from the bottom. There you go. Hope you found this video very useful. Thanks.